Just then, Portia appears with a large man who looks vaguely familiar. She introduces him as Plutarch Heavensby, the new head game maker. Plutarch asks Peta if he can steal me for a dance. Peta's recovered his camera face and good-naturedly passes me over, warning the man not to get too attached. I don't want to dance with Plutarch Heavensby. I don't want to feel his hands, one resting against mine, one on my hip. I'm not used to being touched, except by Peta or my family, and I rank game makers somewhere below maggots in terms of creatures I want in contact with my skin. But he seems to sense this and holds me almost at arm's length as we turn on the floor. We chit-chat about the party, about the entertainment, about the food, and then he makes a joke about avoiding punch since training. I don't get it. And then I realize he's the man who tripped backward into the punch bowl when I shot an arrow at the game makers during the training session. Well, not really. I was shooting an apple out of the roast pig's mouth, but I made them jump. Oh, you're the one who... I laugh, remembering him splashing back into the punch bowl. Yes, and you'll be pleased to know I've never recovered, says Plutarch. I want to point out that 22 dead tributes will never recover from the games he helped create either, but I only say, good, so you're the head game maker this year. That must be a big honor. Between you and me, there weren't many takers for the job, he says. So much responsibility as to how the games turn out. Yeah, the last guy's dead, I think. He must know about Seneca Crane, but he doesn't look the least bit concerned. Are you planning the Quarter Quell games already? I say. Oh, yes. Well, they've been in the works for years, of course. Arenas aren't built in a day. But the, shall we say, flavor of the games is being determined now. Believe it or not, I've got a strategy meeting tonight, he says. Plutarch steps back and pulls out a gold watch on a chain from a vest pocket. He flips open the lid, sees the time, and frowns. I'll have to be going soon. He turns the watch so I can see the face. It starts at midnight. That seems late for... I say, but then something distracts me. Plutarch has run his thumb across the crystal face of the watch, and for just a moment an image appears, glowing as if lit by candlelight. It's another mockingjay, exactly like the pin on my dress, only this one disappears. He snaps the watch closed. That's very pretty, I say. Oh, it's more than pretty. It's one of a kind, he says. If anyone asks about me, say I've gone home to bed. The meetings are supposed to be kept secret, but I thought it'd be safe to tell you. Yes, your secret's safe with me, I say. As we shake hands, he gives a small bow, a common gesture here in the capital. Well, I'll see you next summer at the games, Katniss. Best wishes on your engagement, and good luck with your mother. I'll need it, I say. Plutarch disappears, and I wander through the crowd looking for Peta as strangers congratulate me on my engagement, on my victory at the games, on my choice of lipstick. I respond, but really I'm thinking about Plutarch showing off his pretty, one-of-a-kind watch to me. There was something strange about it, almost clandestine, but why? Maybe he thinks someone else will steal his idea of putting a disappearing mockingjay on a watch face. Yes, he's probably paid a fortune for it, and now he can't show it to anyone because he's afraid someone will make a cheap knockoff version. Only in the capital. I find Peta admiring a table of elaborately decorated cakes. Bakers have come in from the kitchen especially to talk frosting with him, and you can see them tripping over one another to answer his questions. At his request, they assemble an assortment of little cakes for him to take back to District 12, where he can examine their work in quiet. Effie said we have to be on the train at once. I wonder what time it is, he says, glancing around. Almost midnight, I reply. I pluck a chocolate flower from a cake with my fingers and nibble on it, so beyond worrying about manners. Time to say thank you and farewell, trills Effie at my elbow. It's one of those moments when I just love her compulsive punctuality. We collect Cinna and Portia, and she escorts us around to say goodbye to important people, then herds us to the door. Shouldn't we thank President Snow? Asks Peta. It's his house. Oh, he's not a big one for parties. Too busy, says Effie. I've already arranged for the necessary notes and gifts to be sent to him tomorrow. There you are. Effie gives a little wave to two Capitol attendants who have an inebriated Haymitch propped up between them. We travel through the streets of the Capitol in a car with darkened windows. Behind us, another car brings the prep team. The throngs of people celebrating are so thick it's slow going, but Effie has this all down to a science, and at exactly 1 o'clock we are back on the train and it's pulling out of the station. Haymitch is deposited in his room. Cinna orders tea, and we all take seats around the table while Effie rattles her schedule papers and reminds us we're still on tour. There's the Harvest Festival in District 12 to think about, so I suggest we drink our tea and head straight to bed. No one argues. When I open my eyes, it's early afternoon. My head rests on Peta's arm. I don't remember him coming in last night. I turn, being careful not to disturb him, but he's already awake. No nightmares, he says. What? I ask. You didn't have any nightmares last night, he says. He's right. For the first time in ages, I've slept through the night. I had a dream, though, I say, thinking back. I was following a mockingjay through the woods. For a long time. It was Rue, really. I mean, when it sang, it had her voice. Where did she take you? He says, brushing my hair off my forehead. I don't know. We never arrived, I say. But I felt happy. Well, you slept like you were happy, he says. Peta, how come I never know when you're having a nightmare? I say. I don't know. I don't think I cry out or thrash around or anything. I just come to, paralyzed with terror, he says. You should wake me, I say, thinking about how I can interrupt his sleep 2 or 3 times on a bad night. About how long it can take to calm me down. It's not necessary. My nightmares are usually about losing you, he says. I'm okay once I realize you're here. Ugh. Peta makes comments like this in such an offhand way, and it's like being hit in the gut. He's only answering my question honestly. He's not pressing me to reply in kind, to make any declaration of love, but I still feel awful, as if I've been using him in some terrible way. Have I? I don't know. I only know that for the first time I feel immoral about him being here in my bed, which is ironic, since we're officially engaged now. Be worse when we're home and I'm sleeping alone again, he says. That's right. We're almost home. The agenda for District 12 includes a dinner at Mayor Undersea's house tonight and a victory rally in the square during the Harvest Festival tomorrow. We always celebrate the Harvest Festival on the final day of the victory tour, but usually it means a meal at home or with a few friends if you can afford it. This year, it will be a public affair, and since the Capitol will be throwing it, everyone in the whole district will have full bellies. Most of our prepping will take place at the mayor's house, since we're back to being covered in furs for outdoor appearances. We're only at the train station briefly to smile and wave as we pile into our car. We don't even get to see our families until the dinner tonight. I'm glad it will be at the mayor's house instead of at the Justice Building, where the memorial for my father was held, where they took me after the reaping for those wrenching goodbyes to my family. The Justice Building is too full of sadness. But I like Mayor Undersea's house, especially now that his daughter, Madge, and I are friends. We always were, in a way. It became official when she came to say goodbye to me before I left for the games, when she gave me the Mockingjay pin for luck. After I got home, we started spending time together. It turns out Madge has plenty of empty hours to fill, too. It was a little awkward at first because we didn't know what to do. Other girls our age, I've heard them talking about boys or other girls or clothes. Madge and I aren't gossipy, and clothes bore me to tears, but after a few false starts, I realized she was dying to go into the woods. So I've taken her a couple of times and showed her how to shoot. She's trying to teach me the piano, but mostly I like to listen to her play. Sometimes we eat at each other's houses. Madge likes mine better. Her parents seem nice, but I don't think she sees a whole lot of them. Her father has District 12 to run, and her mother gets fierce headaches that force her to stay in bed for days. Maybe you should take her to the Capitol, I said during one of them. We weren't playing the piano that day because even 2 floors away, the sound caused her mother pain. They can fix her up, I bet. Yes, but you don't go to the Capitol unless they invite you, said Madge unhappily. Even the mayor's privileges are limited.